Peace and blessings. This is Malik, Heru, El-Shabbazz. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about mental power, what it is and how it works. Mental powers are powers that involve or manipulate the mental capabilities and or the mind of others. The mind transcends physical boundaries and known physics, thus allowing to achieve astonishing feats. So that's what mental power, that's how mental power is defined. Now, there are types of mental powers. There is telekinesis, darkness manipulation, warping reality, light manipulation, telepathy, gravity manipulations, psionics, and a host of other mental powers that goes all the way from shit ton of mental powers. So what I want to talk about today is telekinesis. All right. So telekinesis is the kind of power that is it comes from the Greek word, and it means far off movement. You know, it's kind of basic, but it means far off movement, and it is the ability to influence, control, manipulate matter or another aspect of a physical system with the mind or through other non-physical means. Commonly, the most basic and fundamental trait is to move or otherwise interact with objects, or alternatively, to generate and apply physical force on a target, or potentially an area, both from a distance and without physical contact. So, is telekinesis real? Can you actually move a thing with your mind simply by thinking it? Of course you can. And but we have to keep in mind that there is a Hollywood version of telekinesis, and then there is the real world of telekinesis. But let's deal with the Hollywood version of telekinesis, because that's what most people would really like to do. They would like to be able to move an object with their mind just by thinking and saying, you know, I want this car moved, and they want to be able to shoot out a energy pulse or force that will move an object out of the way without them having to touch it. Or they would like to know if that is how the stone blocks in the pyramids and the stone blocks in the walls of Pikachu or the Giza Plateau, the Giza complex, if those stones, those 200-ton block granite stones were moved using telekinesis. The answer is, in my opinion, no. However, technology is an alternative answer. to telekinesis. Can the mind? Can you take your mind and lift a jumbo jet? No, but there is a technology out hidden from us now that we can either put on as a helmet or strap in or that we can connect to through like Bluetooth or whatever. But we can send signals to an object using our thoughts through the technology to make objects move. Yes, I believe that is possible. Now, the basic levels of telekinesis would involve binding, levitation, object calling, orbital fields, telekinetic choking, telekinetic grip, telekinetic pull and push, attraction field, aversion field, repulsion fields. Those are so like binding. Binding is like to keep an object or being from moving. So you can mentally, and make a person paralyze them and keep them from moving or keep them arrested. Levitation is the ability to lift an object, which is what we're talking about. So lift an object, raising it, something above the ground to make it defy gravity. And object calling is to call any object to your hand or to wherever you want it to, to be. And orbital fields is to make objects and possibly energy orbit around the user. So here's a marker, and you, for whatever reason, you need to do this. That's orbital fields, creating an orbital field. A telekinetic choking is to choke or strangle others without physical contact. Telekinetic grip. These are obvious things, but I'm just going to go through them anyway. Is to grasp an object firmly in place, keeping the tides from washing a friend away, something like that. So let's say, a car is coming, about to hit somebody, all right, and what you want to be able to do is stop that event from happening. So your telekinetic power to when it comes to grip is to either hold that person or stop that thing from happening, and So just keep it simple. I don't want to make this too difficult for those who have this, these great scientific minds and be like, well, what about this and that? So just gonna keep it simple. And then you have telekinetic maneuver. Now, these telekinetic powers or abilities or technology are used in conjunction with each other or in combination with each other to, let's say, build pyramids. So telekinetic maneuver is to alter an object's directional course for example, changing what number of dice lands on, or deflect an object or an attack. So so you move in an object, right? Because I can give you this basic definition, but let's say you're moving an object, you're building a pyramid, and you got a 400-ton block, and it needs to be in a specific place, in a specific situation, right? So you move that block, and then you need to be able to shift it 10 degrees horizontal. So you put that block into place, you shift it a certain amount of degrees and you set it in place. That is telekinetic maneuvering. Attraction field is to cause surrounding objects to be drawn to the user. So let's say you're an airbender or an earthbender or a firebender or a waterbender, and you want to be able to draw these elements to you. That's attraction field. Aversion field is to cause these objects or principles to avoid the user's immediate location. So think about when Moses crossed the, what sea was that he crossed? What sea did he cross? When he split the waters, whatever, dude. But anyway, the aversion field is the telekinetic power used to push objects away, and then the repulsion field is the cause the objects to be moved away from the user at a variable speed and or intensity. So, you know, in witchcraft, you know, the telekinetic witch can, you know, throw a person across the room with the flick of a hand, or you know, or blow, or below, and for whatever reason that they need, it could the object can move faster, violently, or it can be moved gently. Then you have the telekinetic strike, which is to exert pressure or kinetic energy from a distance to strike a target, either to repel or damage it. So you're in a fight, and you're not fighting with your physical hands or your physical feet or knees or elbows or however you fight, strike, or whatever. You're fighting with your mental abilities. So you you know, flick of a hand and you move a person 20 feet, you know, throw them across the room or in the air somewhere. And if they're not able to also telekinetically block, if the telekinetic strike will allow you to throw a blow or punch or energy at a person or a thing, and it affect them as if you were to hit them with a bat, bullet, fist, another object. So then you have advanced level telekinetics, which is include things like damage inducement, homing effect, motor skill manipulation, telekinetic attacks, telekinetic auras, telekinetic combat. Just, you know, telekinetic combat is to use telekinesis in physical combat. So kind of the same thing as the basic strikes, but you literally are not necessarily using your physical body to strike at another person or an animal or a thing or whatever, and your energy is going out, but it's not like if you hit somebody with your fist, you're going to also cause damage to your fist if you hit that person. Well, with telekinetic combat, you're not going to get that damage to your fists or your elbows or your knees or your feet, whatever. However, as you exert energy, you lose energy, or you lose energy strength. So you do get weaker, but you don't, like, you know, bleed or cut or something like that. You know, telekinetic crushing, telekinetic destruction, telekinetic tethering, surgery, solidification. All of these are forms of telekinesis. And then you have the expert level of telekinetic power, which includes molecular manipulation, like molecular acceleration, which can age a person. Elemental manipulation is to control any and all prominent forces from the physical to the esoteric. Then you have the property manipulation, which changes the physical and chemical properties of a thing. So they, we talk about, we've read about, debated or discussed alchemy, and is to turn a base element into gold, which we know that esoterically that is taking a rudimentary thing or crude person and refining them into a refined individual. But on an elemental scale, elemental property manipulation in telekinesis will take water and turn it into wine, will take something and multiply it. Transmutation telekinesis is the ability to change molecules, turn anything into almost anything else. So there are probably almost 100 different telekinetic techniques that can be used, and basic, intermediary, and expert levels, where a person over time can learn how to do these things if they had the technology. So that you got technology that will, the technology by itself, you can put it on, connect to it, but it doesn't do anything until you direct it to do what you want it to do. So it's possible to do these things, but you have to find what has been hidden from you, and then be able to use it accordingly. Peace.